Hello, and welcome to the next episode of the Nourish and Strengthen podcast. I am super excited to bring you this short but very impactful episode that is really going to give you one reason why you are not reaching your fitness goals. And this is really that one aspect of goal setting that most people don't even think about, right? So we're going to just jump right in. This is coming out at the beginning of the year, and a lot of us are setting New Year's resolutions, setting goals. Let me just do a little bit of a rant here. I don't love it when, especially fitness professionals, go off on hating against New Year's resolutions. I'm a big New Year's resolution person, but I should say, I'm a big goal setting person, and I feel a lot of excitement on a Monday, on the first of the month, and especially on the first of the year. I just feel like it's a natural time where most of us do feel more motivated, and why not use that extra energy towards something good, right? So yes, I know where people are coming from when they hate on New Year's resolutions. They're hating on the idea of setting these goals year after year and never actually following through with what you're saying you want to do, right? So that is where today's podcast is coming from, okay? So we're just going to jump right in, and we're going to talk about kind of a new aspect of goal setting, or really just one thing that you're likely not doing in your goal setting that is probably keeping you from reaching your goals, okay? So most people understand that a goal has to be a SMART goal, right? We're not going to stay on this very long. I know we all know this. What SMART stands for is a couple different variations out there, but we have specific, right? So you don't want to just say, I want to lose weight. You want to say, I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to be a size 6. I want to be able to fit into these pants, whatever it is. Very specific, right? Then M stands for measurable, right? So you want to be able to know, have I reached this goal, right? I can measure it by the scale weight, or by my inches lost, or by putting on the pants and seeing my progress, right? A, it has to be actionable, right? You have to have actions that you can take to get there, right? R is it has to be realistic. And I mean, I've got my beef with this one because I'm all about setting big goals that you don't even know if they're realistic, right? But R is realistic. And T stands for timely, or time bound. Okay, so that is, you're putting an end date on that goal. I'm going to reach X goal by this date, right? So most of us understand that. Most of us understand that our goals need to be specific, right? And not just like general statements, okay? A lot of people also understand the importance of visualization. When you have a goal, you want to visualize everything about that goal. What is your life going to be like when you reach that goal? Actually, one thing that we ask on our strategy calls a lot is, with clients that want to work with our coaching business, is, what is your life going to be like when you reach this goal? Like, let's say you want to lose 50 pounds. What's that going to do for you? What's your life going to be like? And how are you going to be different? That question just gets people thinking about, what is this going to do for me? I have this goal, but how is my life going to be different? Of course, your life, your confidence will be different because that's why you want to get there, right? But I want you to visualize that and really kind of live into it. Okay. The next thing that's super important with goal setting is to have a plan, right? So you don't want to just put it out there and be like, I hope I get there. I don't know. We'll see. I want to lose 30 pounds, but I'm not going to change anything. I don't really have a plan to get there. So a plan is super important. Those are kind of the main things most people think about, right? When you set a goal, you want it to be specific. You want to visualize yourself. You want to have a plan to get there. Accountability would probably be another thing that you could add. But what is something that I have not mentioned yet that is so, so, so important? And that is self-belief. You guys, self-belief has to come first. Okay, if you don't have a strong belief that you really can reach your goals, I promise that you won't reach them. Okay, so what we're going to talk about in this episode is why this is so important and how to build this belief if you don't currently have it, okay? Because you might be thinking, well, I want to lose 20 pounds and I've tried 10 times before and I haven't done it. So I don't believe that I can do it. Deep down, I don't believe it, okay? So we're going to talk about why that's not a helpful thought, okay? And then go into how to build that self-belief. So I want you to let's use that lose 20 pounds as our example here in this episode, okay? So if you have the internal dialogue of, I'm just going to see, I don't know if I can really do this. I've tried this before and I failed. I'm just going to try again. Nothing's really that different. If that's your internal dialogue, then this is what's going to happen. At some point, I promise you, this will happen. Okay. Oftentimes it happens at like 3 to 4 weeks in. You've been sticking to your plan. You've seen some initial success, but maybe that success is slowing down a little bit. Maybe your motivation is a little bit low. Then the temptations start. Your kids are begging for cookies and ice cream, or someone brings you treats, or you're out at a restaurant with your spouse and you want to get the dessert, or whatever it is. If your internal self-talk was, I'm just going to see if I can do this. I don't know if I really can. We're just going to see what's going to happen, guys. You are going to self-sabotage. You will. I promise you. Okay. This is not a self-sabotage talk. Episode, gosh, it was one of the first four. I released the first 4 episodes on the same day. And so it was one of those first four. It's specifically on self-sabotage. If you struggle with this and you're setting goals, I would go back and listen to that episode. Okay. Just scroll back to the beginning. You'll see it right there. It is easier, you guys, mentally to give yourself an out, to like give yourself an excuse as to why you can't reach your goals than to do everything in your power and then still not reach it. Okay. Our brains want comfort, right? Our brains want to have this easy way out. And it can be super scary to go all in, tell people about your goals and just apply yourself, do everything in your power. That's scary because what happens if you don't quite get there? And so oftentimes, that fear of failure is what makes us self-sabotage. Okay. So if you don't firmly believe that you can do this, you will self-sabotage. So maybe you're listening to this, nodding your head. Maybe you're thinking, okay, this is all making sense. And this might be why I've never reached my goals before. Okay, that's why it's really critical to talk about this and think through this for yourself before, beginning a program, setting goals, turning over a new leaf, whatever that is. So really, really important. So hopefully you're bought in on why it's so important. Now let's talk about how to build that self-belief. So you might be thinking, well, I've tried this like 10 times and I've never done it. So how on earth do I firmly believe that I can do it? So I have 2 ways for you. I have 2 solutions for you. Okay. One thing to do is to look for evidence in your life that someone has done what you want to do. Okay. So in our 20-pound example, has anyone in the world ever lost 20 pounds? Yeah, lots of people, tons of people. Maybe even you yourself have lost the 20 pounds and you didn't maintain it. I want you to look for evidence that it's possible. Okay. If someone has done it before, then it can be easier to build a belief that it is possible to lose 20 pounds, right? Keep in mind, but let's talk about the fastest mile, right? I Googled it. Hopefully this is right. I'm not 100% sure, but according to Google today, the fastest mile is 3 minutes and 43 seconds. Do you guys think that, so many years ago, before the fastest mile was under 4 minutes, that people were believing they could do that? I'm sure it was hard to believe that was possible until someone did it, right? But once someone else did it, you better believe there's a lot of people saying, well, if he can do it, I can do it. Right? And then more people are doing it and more people are doing it. I'm actually not sure how many people have run a mile in under 4 minutes or even under 5 minutes, but I would imagine once the first guy did it, then more people started doing it, right? So first way to build your self-belief is look for evidence that it is possible in the world around you, okay? Second way to build that self-belief is look for evidence in your life that you can keep promises to yourself and do hard things. Okay, so what does that mean? I want you to start small, okay? So keeping these promises to yourself, maybe it is a couple ideas in a morning routine, or maybe it is in a daily habit. Okay, let's talk about both of these. So a morning routine. Maybe you start small and you tell yourself, I'm going to make my bed every morning. Why? Because I like the way a clean room feels. It keeps my mind more clear. It keeps me from feeling less cluttered. It helps me stay on track throughout the day when I feel like I have clean surroundings, right? So maybe that is a habit and a promise you want to keep to yourself, is making your bed every day. That might seem so simple, and it might also seem like it doesn't have anything to do with your fitness goals, but hear me out, okay? So the more you keep this promise to yourself, the more you're building confidence in yourself that you keep the promises you make to yourself, right? And then you can build onto quote unquote harder promises, bigger promises, harder things, and slowly build that confidence. Okay. So making your bed's an awesome one because you do it first thing in the morning. You start your day off with that little win, that W, that checkbox. I can do this, right? Maybe it's a daily habit. Maybe it's a habit that is related to your goal, like I'm going to track all of my food, or I'm not going to have any BLTs, or maybe it's a cold shower thing. That's a hard thing that you want to commit to doing, right? So start small and build on those promises. Once something feels easy to you, do something a little bit bigger, a little bit harder, okay? Because then you have these perfect examples in your life of, okay, well, Sally down the street has lost 20 pounds. Gosh, I could think of 10 people in my life that have lost 20 pounds. And I know I personally can keep promises to myself, and I personally can do hard things and follow through on what I tell myself I'm gonna do. So why can't I lose the 20 pounds? It's possible, and I'm a hard worker. Does that make sense? So if you're lifting weights and pushing yourself, that's a great example in your life of evidence that you can do hard things, okay? It's amazing when you have a weight in front of you or a barbell on your back that's a little bit stronger or a little bit heavier than you think you can lift, and then you do it. That empowerment that you get from lifting can leak out into other areas of your life and show you that you can do hard things. You can do things that you didn't think you can do. Okay. And when you know other people can do this, get a little bit of that competitive spice, right? If so-and-so can do it, why can't I? She's no better than me, right? I can do that too. So let a little bit of that competitive energy come out in to help you build that self-belief. Okay. So whatever your goal is, you guys, you must believe 100% that you can do it. Okay. And I want you to ask yourself right now on a scale of 1 to 10, think about your goal. Let's just use the 20 pounds for an example. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you believe you can really do this? 10 out of 10 is, oh my gosh, hands down, just fast forward, 3 or 4 months, I will be there, or whatever it is, okay? If your self-belief is around 5, 6, or lower, I would really look at ways to build that self-belief. Or another option is you can lower your goal a little bit and chunk it out into pieces, into something that you do have belief in. Okay, so maybe you have a big weight loss goal. Maybe you have a weight loss goal of 75 pounds and you're like, I truly don't know if I can do this. That feels very overwhelming. My self-belief of losing that 75 pounds is like a 3. But if you break that down into 10-pound chunks, maybe you're like, well, I can lose 10 pounds. I know I can. And you just do little chunks at a time. Okay, so maybe your self-belief at losing 10 pounds is like a 9, right? Just take it a little bit of a time. Lose the 10 pounds, maybe set another goal for 10 pounds. And what's your self-belief between the scale of 1 to 10 on that next 10? Maybe it's another 9 because you just lost 10 pounds and you're like, I am in a good groove. I'm doing awesome. I can keep going. So you're chunking it out. Okay. So this is a short episode, kind of just a synopsis here. Gotta believe you can do it. You have to. If you don't, try to build that belief. Okay, by looking for evidence that it's been done and looking for evidence that you can do hard things and keep promises to yourself, or chunk out your goal a little bit, make it a little bit smaller and do it in little segments and do segments that you do believe you can do. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope it kind of made you look at goal setting a little bit differently and helped you remember this one super important aspect of setting those goals, New Year's resolutions, if you will. I'm a New Year's resolution fan. What can I say? If you enjoyed this, please give it a share on social media and get the word out about my podcast to other people. I would love that so incredibly much. And I will talk to you guys next week. Have a great week, guys.